This is Ryan Lutz, and you are listening to the No Name RC Podcast.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC Podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC Podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of the No Name RC podcast. This week's guest is Ryan Lutz, who is truly a legend of RC. But before we talk to Ryan Lutz, I have JQ on the line here because we want to talk about a few things that happened in silly season. What's up, Joseph? How are you?
So I'm not a legend?
No, not yet. You might be a legend if you do well in Vietnam when you get, this weekend.
Wow.
But before we get on to that, first I want to say shout out and say thank you to all of our supporters, because episode 9 is probably on pace to be our most popular episode so far. It's been out for a week and it's already third on the list of downloads on Podbean. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some people also listen to it on the RCMX online website, and then maybe iTunes also. So
yeah,
I don't think all the views.
That's true.
I don't think Podbean shows all the views. The early ones were only on Podbean, so I think it shows more.
Yeah, that's cool. Also, I want to say thanks to all of our JQ family. Without these guys, we couldn't do it, and our Patreon supporters. We can't do it without the Patreon guys, and we got our first giveaway coming up here too. I'll post it up shortly, but we got that body from Southern Nats that you used and kind of like freaked everybody out with.
Yeah, how are you going to give that away?
I don't know. I think we're going to do it like via some random raffle thing, or maybe we'll do like a small competition not a competition, but maybe have to figure out how to do something, listen to the podcast, but it's just for our Patreon members, because everybody supports us, but those guys go above and beyond. So
that's right.
But let's shout out to some of our supporters. We got FastRaceShop.com, our one sponsor for the 10-question, 10-second segment. I think my one went pretty good last week, even though people was like, I didn't answer the questions. Hey, man.
Give me a minute. Someone's calling here.
Can you tell your secretary to take your phone calls, please?
Yeah. Hello? Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Jeez, man. Wait.
See, that's how it works over here in the Philippines. Everything's delivered.
Yeah,
Good
but
delivery.
You're so smooth. You're smooth as zero grit sandpaper, dude. Jesus.
Yeah, that's super smooth.
Yeah. But thank you and shout out to FastRaceShop.com for sponsoring us. Remember, people, if you go to FastRaceShop.com, put in Lefty 2019 in all caps, you get 10% off your purchase. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Brent Densford, Beach RC, Assault RC, and JQ Racing USA distributor. He's been really helpful so far, and I believe we might get Assault RC on as a sponsor here. We're in talks with him now because he's doing some pretty cool things with that. Brent's going off to the Chili Bowl next week, which is a pretty interesting race. I don't know if you know much about that, but he's all excited about that.
Yeah, I like chili.
Yeah, it's not that though. It's actually dirt oval, an RC dirt oval race, which is really big. I didn't really know too much about it until I was in North Carolina. I went to a race with Mike Hill. But it's also alongside an actual indoor dirt oval race, like a big indoor sprint car dirt oval race. So it's like RC is going to be exposed to thousands of people. So it's actually
well, that's good.
It's
even though it's oval.
Yeah, but it's good. It's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to hearing his report from there. Also, shout out to Jerome Chambon, Donuts RC, RC Streamline, JQ Racing European distributor. He just got back from Padova, the one-man standing race that Ongaro won, which is pretty good. And before we go on and talk a little bit, I want to send some condolences out. I was talking to Mike Walker, and he was actually at a funeral for a young kid named Javon Cruz, I believe his name was. He's from Florida, and he passed away suddenly here the other day. He's an RC racer, young guy, 18, 19 years old. He was well-liked in the RC community, and he passed away all of a sudden, man. So it's really sad. They were attending his funeral, so my condolences out to the family and to the RC community of Florida. From us at JQ Racing, Mike Walker, our rep there, told me about it. So it's sad, man. You know, so full of life, and you know, you gotta live life. You gotta live life, dude. So I feel bad, man.
Yeah, you never know when it's over.
Yeah, young kid, you know, just going like that. So I really feel sorry for him and his family, and my condolences once again. So I decided to have you on the introduction this week because, well, we had a few things happen in silly season that we didn't even. Oh God, jeez, you and all this noise. Like, do you need a louder doorbell?
Do I need a what?
Do you need a louder doorbell?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, man.
Some food delivery here.
Okay.
It's so well prepared.
All right. Well, maybe yeah. I don't know. That I know how that works. So, but you need your doorbell is really loud, like, you know. So
I don't know.
fix
Maybe
it.
it just gets
See?
picked up here.
It's just making off. I love it. I love it. It's funny, hilarious. So Joseph, here's a couple of things I didn't see coming.
What's that?
Canas to Reds, because I swore on he was going to MX, and McBride leaving AE.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see. Canas now running S-Works, Reds, and Seismic tires. So the Reds engines shouldn't be any problem. I mean, I've been running them for a few years. Since 2015 or 14?
Mm-hmm.
So I know they are good. The S-Works is close to the Mugen, which he used to run. So it should be okay. Seismic tires, I don't know much about at all. I know that on certain tracks, they work really well.
What type of tracks is that?
I don't know the type of track, but I do remember that at the Montpellier GP, they were really good, because I remember some drivers who aren't usually at the top were doing really well with the tires, and people were saying that it's the Seismic tires that are good in those conditions.
Okay.
And then was it that 8-scale electric Euros or something where people were running them? I think it was that race. 8-scale electric Euros somewhere in the northern France.
Okay. I actually haven't even watched that race.
Maybe. I think that was the race where what's his face? One of the Sartels ran that tire, I think, and was doing well, and everyone kind of felt like that was the tire to have. So it will be interesting to see.
Yeah. Along with that, we also, well, we'll touch on Kyle McBride, but Cole Ogden left J Concepts to go Hot Race.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a big move for Hot Race. They were looking for.
Yeah.
I would. Well, Cole is a top name in America. So I guess he's going to be their number one guy there in America. TJ Bradley, they got Daniel Chavez as their team manager. I mean, you know, Nicola. I don't know how you say his name, but he's aggressive. I like him. Small company, pushing hard. How do you feel the move for Cole to Hot Race is going to go?
Yeah, I would assume it's about money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good move for both. If it can help Cole support his racing, and it will obviously help with Hot Race's visibility in America. And Cole is on the East Coast, and we all know that the majority of sales, the majority of people are on the East Coast, so it's good.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm curious to see if his performance will be the same. He's leaving J Concepts, J Concepts knows the tracks and the conditions, and they have the right treads and compounds for the races they go to. and you always, or the drivers always know what tire to run.
Yeah.
So now with hot race, he'll be alone. He won't know the compounds. He has to learn that stuff. So it will be interesting to see how he does and how that tires perform compared to the other brands.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that he'll do just the same.
Okay.
I don't think the tires will hold him back, and I don't think that he'll have an advantage. I think these days that most of the tires are pretty closely matched.
It will be interesting to see. His first big race on them will be the SIC race coming up next weekend. So should be good. Should be good. I really hope Hot Race can make a dent in the U.S. market. I mean, the more tires we have, I think the better pricing for the consumer there is. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Because
then no one makes enough money.
Yeah, well, we all know that tires are key, and tires are, in my opinion, the money-making business in RC because everybody uses them in their consumables. So, yeah, we shall see. Kyle Mcbride leaving AE. People are like shocked, but I'm not. Not at all.
Yeah, I was expecting it, to be honest. I was surprised when there was no announcement before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think he's headed?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I don't know any company that would pay him because he doesn't race that much. He stays in America. I mean, stays in Australia. He doesn't race much in Europe or America or even Asia. He does FEMCA. He does Philippine Masters, and I don't know. That's pretty much it, I think. So it's a lot of money to spend on someone who only races in Australia, which is a pretty small market if you compare it to America or Europe.
Yeah.
So he's not really worth a paycheck because of that. Now, I think I ranted about this somewhere else where I said, look, he's good enough to where he could be a professional driver, but he would have to move somewhere else. And he could have, at one stage when he was running for Associated, the early days, he could have moved to America and, if not full-time, at least, for example, 6 months of the year, and definitely earned his paycheck that way, but he chose not to. And I think this is the result. Now he was dropped, and I don't see anyone signing him. I mean, the only logical place for him to go would be Infinity, because Infinity kind of signs up everyone who is good but can't get a deal anymore,
right,
or is a former world champion, or kind of at the end of his career or whatever. And maybe McBride fits into that group. He's not a world champion, but he's a world's, I think, is he a podium finisher or has he just finished fourth? But
not sure, but he made the finals this year.
But he always seems to make the main at the Worlds, and he's right up there. So I think he could be a fit for Infinity.
He's definitely talented. I don't know. Something tells me TLR, and why I say TLR is that they didn't really sign any 8 scale, and he can drive 10 scale as well. He can also do 10 scale, but they didn't really sign a big name 8 scale driver this year. I mean, they have Fend and they have Savoya, but I think it would also have to come that he would have to come to America at some point in time and spend time there and do races in America for TLR. So unless that...
Well, it looks like he isn't interested in doing that. So I don't think TLR will do it. If they were going to sign someone, they would have signed someone already.
Is it he's not interested, or was it budget cuts? He just, to fly to Australia from Australia?
I'm sure he could have done it if he wanted to when Associated signed him.
Really? Well,
yeah.
and
I know Cavalieri told him also that he should do that, and he could have stayed at Ryan's house for a bit at least when he went there. So I don't see it being a problem.
Yeah,
he just decided or chose not to do it.
Well, I hope he changes because he's still young. He's probably not even 25 now, and he's still got a bright future ahead of him. But he just has to make a decision on what he wants to do. Be good to get him on the podcaster and see what he has to say too. That'd be a great guest, I think, for a person from down under. So this race in Padova that was last week. For those who don't know where Padova is, it's a really awesome track in Padova, Italy. It's undercover. It's slick. It's big. it's kind of different too. It's not it's more long than it is wide, so you're going away from yourself a lot more than any normal track.
I hate tracks like that.
Yeah.
Basically, the driver's stand is at the end.
Yeah. So that makes it a little bit difficult, but a lot of top names in Europe was there. Ongaro, Battier, Savoya, Berton was there, Boots, a few other guys, fast Italian guys, and Chetin. The Killix where are the Killix from? Germany or Turkey?
Germany.
Yeah, but they're young, fast Nemo Agama racers, young guys. And it was a good race, but Ongaro was like nobody was able to touch Ongaro. Like,
yeah, he's so fast right now. Crazy.
It was amazing. I mean, he was lapping guys in like semis and stuff like that. So,
yeah. And that was the debut race for the Kyosho, basically. But the two Italian kids who got second, Berton got second and Polito fourth. They were running the MP9 still. So.
Oh really? So Boots was the only one with the 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we don't know yet
and
the
Boots
full story on the MP10.
And Boots has been testing at that track, so you know.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't really feature in the race too much. Something happened to him in the main, so he didn't finish.
Do you think? My buddy and I were having this debate the other day. We was talking about Berton. Because Kyosho's kind of built him as their new young hope, but this was kind of before they signed CJ Jellin. What do you see? We didn't talk about it, but what do you see Berton doing this year? Is he going to race full time, or is he going to be in school, or what?
I think he's racing. I don't know.
Okay.
Didn't he finish school? And that's why he got back to racing.
But he's very talented, so it's.
Oh, yeah, he's really fast. I would say he's Kyosho's best driver right now, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you think... I hope he comes to DNC. That would be great.
Yeah, I don't know who's going there.
Yeah, I think if the Runafalk, Battier, and maybe Boots, Berton, Ongaro go, I can pretty much say that's going to be 4 or 5 other guys that aren't in the main at DNC. Because
DNC, the field is going to be pretty stacked. I mean, Ongaro's going, right? I think they announced that.
Yeah.
I know Robert wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, it will be interesting what other Europeans go.
I'm pretty sure Runafalk's going to go.
Barufalo was there last year.
Yeah, I don't see him going this year, but I definitely...
Joao was there last year.
I definitely can see, like, Berton and... oh, man. Boots
was
being
Savoya there?
Yes, he was. And he made the main.
Yeah.
So I think Savoya will have to be there as well because they need somebody to make the main. Not saying that Fend can't make it, but he didn't make it last year. So
yeah, this Mattia Polito is also doing really well.
Yeah.
Recently, so he's the next Italian kid.
Did he just switch over to Kyosho, or has he run it for all this time?
Well, he used to run TLR before. I don't know when he switched to Kyosho. I can't remember.
Okay.
I know he ran Kyosho last year.
I know. I've heard Max.
He made the main at the Euros with Kyosho.
Yeah, I've heard Max talk about him too, so I know he's pretty fast. So should be good. But anyway, you actually have a big race this weekend. You're going off to Vietnam. You're gonna race your fellow designer / racer Yuichi Kanai, and a couple of fast Asian guys that are going. I was looking at the track. It looks pretty good. Are you excited to go to Vietnam?
Yeah, I've never been there. And actually, Torrance de Guzman is going there too. So it's going to be three car designers. We can have a designers race.
That's cool. That's very cool. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. When you come back, maybe we'll talk about that. And I don't know. You'll see. I still have to rant on you, but I'm probably going to have to wait until you get back from Vietnam to do that because you're pretty much getting ready to get on the airplane and leave today, aren't you?
That's right.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, like I said, this is episode 10. Enough of Joseph and I talking and rambling on. I'm going to call up Ryan Lutz. And Joseph, good luck in Vietnam. And I'll talk to you. I got a rant for you when you get back. So you better do good in Vietnam.
Okay, I can't wait.
If you don't do good in Vietnam, then it's going to be even more epic.
Okay.
But if you do good in Vietnam, I won't rant on you. Okay?
Okay, I'll do my best.
No, you have to do more than your best.
Okay, so 110% then.
120. 120. All right, dude. Good luck. Have a safe flight and have fun.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Hey, so what's up, guys? Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. This is episode 10. We've got one of the major players in silly season here, Ryan Lutz, with his new move to Nemo USA, Agama. What's up, Ryan? How are you?
Hey, Keenan. Great to be on. Thank you so much, and I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah, you just come from you've been testing like crazy. Like that's
We've been doing 12 to 15-hour days. It seems like just nonstop wrenching and testing and traveling in the trailer and learning how to use the trailer.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, today you was at Thornhill, right?
Yes, yep.
So how did that go? How was Thornhill testing today?
It's great. Thornhill is such an amazing facility, and to be able to race, be covered, but feel like you're outside. And then the track just being so large, big open lanes, really fast and sweeping with really nice jumps. It's been a lot of fun and getting the cars really dialed in. And the track always has like a medium lowish traction, so I can, really have fun with truggy especially and pitch it into corners and do some drifting.
So you was testing the new Agama prototype car today. Well, you've been testing it all week. I'm not too familiar with it, but it's definitely a new Nitro car. Is the e-buggy and truggy based off the Nitro kit so far?
Yeah, the e-buggy and the Nitro buggy both have the new components on it. At the moment, most of the stuff is available. They're going to have some new chassis parts as well, which we don't have yet, but we'll have soon. And the truggy, nothing new at the moment. Okay. It's all available.
Okay, but the truggy is good too. I've seen it go, so it's truggy, so it's all right. Yeah. I'm super happy to have you on this podcast. We talked before. You wouldn't let me know who you was going to, but I kind of figured it out, and I'm glad to have you on, number one, because I'll tell you this. I think you're a great ambassador for the sport. You are like the one only guy from Techno that will come up to the JQ tents and talk to us and have a conversation with us, and I really appreciate that. I mean, at every race that I went to last year, you would speak to me and come up and talk to me. You was the only Techno guy ex-Techno guy that did that, and I appreciate that because I know what it was. It was a really big a rivalry between JQ and Techno and all that type of stuff. Even though JQ holds you in high regards, but I appreciate that, and I thank you for coming on the podcast, and I appreciate it. And
you're very welcome.
And I think you really, I think you played up silly season better than anybody else. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Appreciate that. I tried. I mean, Nemo, Billy got a little bit carried away, I think, with his Christmas doorpost. Oh,
that like kind of gave it away.
Yeah, he gave it away for all the people following that page, but that's all right.
It's all right, man. I enjoyed it. I think I definitely think you and Tebo were like having a competition to see who could do it better, but I don't know. It was kind of a tie, but
yeah, he does great. He does great with social media too. He's able to do more than I do, or does more than I do, and I try to emulate some of it, I guess.
I think you do great on social media, to be honest with you. You have your blog. You was everywhere, dude. Like 2018, after DNC, after JQ's DQ and all that crap. I flew up to Washington. I flew up to Washington to visit my dad, and I just happened to go to this track up there. And you was there. I was like, man, this guy doesn't take a break.
Doesn't seem like it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what we have to do. So
yeah, that's part of the job.
It is.
Get out there, promote, help everybody out, and help them enjoy their hobby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what you do, and I think you are a great brand ambassador. Even doing handstands at 1:00 at PMB with your.
Yeah, my last hour of the night, jolt of energy, and I'm able to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that Red Bull induced coffee that you drink or something. I don't know.
Not at all. I'm water only.
Oh my! I don't know how you do it. So, you've been testing this week. You and Tebo were battling over silly season, but I kind of want to get you in this podcast so we can talk and. I want to talk about your early career here. And
sure.
I know, like, I was reading your blog the other day, and I found it very interesting that your dad built the dual motored Kyosho USA one. Like I remember seeing that in RC car action, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever when I was and back in the day. I don't know how old I was, but I just remember I wanted a USA one after that.
Right. It was probably around 1990, 91, 92, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
If not before. And yeah, as far as I know, he was one of the first people to ever make, a twin engine Nitro that both engines fired up and he'd tune them each individually and be able to run it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that whole kit was just an awesome piece of kit. And back in the day, if you just got your engine to run for the amount of a gas tank, it was a win-win. So to get two to run that was awesome. It was an awesome piece of kit. I mean, it would be a great kit to rebuild, I think, too.
It would. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
So I was on your blog. I was looking at some old pictures there, and I can't remember the exact race, but you started, I think when you kind of broke through to being a pro was 2005 at RC Pro. I was actually at that race, to be honest with you. I was there at
Sun Valley.
Yes, with that big step up. Remember that crazy? It had that big
it was
giant,
a huge track. I don't remember much of the layout. I don't remember layouts very well.
It had this big step up, and then you went like 20 feet in the air and dropped down, and it had the longest back straight I've ever seen in my life. But that one, Truggy was kind of new. I was racing a Jammin' Truggy at that time. I believe you won Truggy that year. And
I TQ'd, but I had some kind of issue in the main, I think.
Okay, but that was basically the start of your pro career as a RC racer, pretty much.
Yeah, that kind of kicked it off. Got me the full ride with Kyosho after that.
Okay. So how was that working with Kyosho? I mean, you got to travel a lot. I know the guys here. I live in the Dominican Republic, and like Francis and those guys and Carlos Socorro, they got to meet you in Puerto Rico. And you came down to race. Yeah, Francisco, Ortiz. It's my boy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he is awesome. He is, but he's Kyosho forever, so he isn't that awesome. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kyosho guys, but I'm always gonna be a Kyosho. I'm a Mugen guy deep down, so.
Okay.
I started with Mugen. I'm sorry, but So tell us about your time with Kyosho, man. How did that start off? Because I don't really know your age, but it must have been cool to be like a factory driver for Kyosho at that time. And Kyosho was still, Kyosho's still big, but that was when Kyosho was Kyosho, the big company.
Yeah, I can give you a little bit of a backstory on how it happened. Well, it was after the RC Pro Finals, and they offered me the full ride for travel, so they were going to fly me and my dad out to some races. And the first race we went and did was the Nitro Challenge, and that's the last year it was in Hemet.
And
great track. It was the second time we'd ever been to California, and we actually got in a really bad car accident the first day. My dad was turning left on a red arrow, and for some reason, and we got T-boned in the back, spun out, and all my RC stuff was in the back. It broke our starter box, busted open the gallon of fuel that we had. And so when we got to the track, eventually, Pavitas, I think, let us use a starter box, but I missed a practice round, and it was just a really, really bad week. I was like in the E main or something.
Okay.
So it was a rough start, but I did a couple other races, Silver State and one or two others, and then it got to about June or July, and they asked me to go to a race, and I said I couldn't get the time off of work. And Joel Johnson was the manager at Kyosho at the time, and he said, well, you should come out and work for us, and we'll give you all the time off you need to go race. So basically a month later, I drove across the country and began working, and they put me in a position as the team manager, and not with any skills at it before, and they just needed somebody to fill in for Reagan LeBlanc, who had left. And so there I was, the team manager, and just try to do the best I could at that. And I did not only team manager and, managing about 100, 150 team guys throughout the 8 scale, 10 scale, and on-road disciplines, but also doing sales calls to hobby shops and also working in the warehouse packing orders. And so it was very busy. I didn't get to practice per se that much. And when I went to the races, I was taking care of the team. And at the time we had a very large team, probably about 20, 25 guys. So say we went to Nitro Challenge, if they needed a part, they came to me. So I'm also expected to do good and race and be out there doing my best, but then also being distracted all the time, having people come asking me for parts that they needed to fix their cars.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, I'm nowhere near your level of driving, but I go to these races with our guys here, and it's impossible for me to race. You know, it's like I want to make sure everybody's happy and everybody's got what they need and got pit guys, but I mean, it's impossible to focus on your race program and do all of that. So I understand that fully.
Yep, it was a major balancing act for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Did you so at this time did you move to California? What was that like? I mean, moving. I don't know exactly where you're from. Where are you originally?
I grew up in Ohio, Medina, between Cleveland and Akron, so northeast Ohio.
So that's completely different from California.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a town of 40,000 versus going to Southern California where it's just traffic galore.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It was a big change when I first moved out there. We didn't have anywhere to live at the time, and they put me up at an extended stay till I found somewhere, and I ended up renting a bedroom in a family's house for the first 3 months before I found a couple guys to live with.
Yeah, that's not cool. That sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't blame you, man. It's not easy. It's not all glamorous, man. People think it's
not at all.
Not at all. Not like that. So how long was you with Kyosho doing this approximately?
Yeah. It was about almost 3 years.
Okay. But you did excel at Kyosho, and you was getting some good results, and you was traveling a lot too. I mean, that's one thing about you. You have traveled a lot. So
yeah, I do about 100,000 miles a year on average. So.
Okay. So what happened? I mean, then you transitioned from Kyosho to Tamiya. How do they say? The English say Tamiya. I say Tamiya. So
I say Tamiya, but that's kind of what I was alluding to with the team manager part and also trying to race. And, I wanted to be a top racer. And I mean, I can give you a little backstory as to what really made my decision to leave Kyosho was that Cody King was on the team at the time as well. And Brandon Rohde at Live RC was working for Kyosho at the time, making their website. And Brandon and Joel had gone over to Kyosho Japan, and they were talking about next year's budget and who they were planning to put on the international team. And they said they're going to put Cody on the international team for the next year. And Brandon spoke up for me. He's like, well, what about Ryan? And they're like, he works for us, So they just kind of laughed it off like that. So that was like, okay, I really want to travel more. I want to race more and, try to make my career as that. So I'm like, I guess I got to go somewhere else. So I just decided to try something different. And Tamiya had their new 8-scale platforms that they were putting out, and spoke with David Junn and those guys over at Tamiya, and it just sounded like a really cool opportunity. I'd get to race all the time and help develop a new platform. So that's where that started.
Yeah, you're not new to developing platforms and bringing new things too. How was your time? I mean, I totally understand how I would want to be on an international team as well. Yeah. I mean, at that time, you was getting good results. You was doing well. You deserved it, in my opinion. I remember that time. I wasn't really into RC, but I remember reading about you at that time. So, your move to Tamiya, how was that?
It started off pretty good. We were trying to do the new platform, and a couple quirks of the car were saying like the Truggy had the same shocks as the Buggy did, so it had very little droop. So some tracks it was really good, and some tracks it didn't work well at all. And the overall it was positive. It was just nice to be able to race more and practice more, and have David there with me to kind of be like a steady pit guy that I had all the time. And I think it helped just develop me being able to drive things that maybe weren't always great, but make the most of it, and just to get more practice time.
How did you, going to races and probably being the only Tamiya guy racing 8-scale, did that affect you anyway, like to bounce setup changes off people? It was just you, so did that affect you anyway?
I mean, I'm sure it does. I mean, not necessarily having the situations all the time where I've had people to bounce stuff off of a lot. I'm kind of used to that, especially at this point. But
I would say
I'm sure. I mean, there's other teams that you can just see 2 or 3 top guys, and they can definitely figure stuff out quicker. Just part of the game.
It is part of the game. So how long did you last at? How long did Tamiya go along? Was you there until they decided not to have any race teams, or?
No, but my leaving kind of made that decision for them, I think. It was about 2.5 years, and we had a meeting, and they told me that they didn't want to change the platform for 5 years or really make many changes to it. I'm like, that doesn't work in this market anymore. And so I'm like, I think I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah. You definitely can't do like a 5-year, like, what are they thinking? Like 5 years without changing anything?
Right.
You know, it's insane. I agree with you.
And then Tamiya Japan never wanted to put the TRF name, the racing name, on the 8-scale stuff. They kind of left it as an American project and never really embraced it.
Really?
Yeah.
America, in my opinion, is the biggest market, so they need to do something like that.
It is, but just the company, like the internal company, didn't want to embrace it and really put the effort into it, I don't think, as much as they could have.
Okay. I mean, I get that. And then eventually Tamiya ended up just not having a racing team at all. And they had world champions when they decided to do that. So
Right, yeah.
I
just went a different direction.
Did they? I mean, it's Tamiya. Their old company, RTRs and scale stuff is their thing. So after Tamiya, we go to Durango, which is Joseph's favorite topic, is Durango.
Right.
10-year contract. How did you do that? Like, how did that come about? I remember when that happened. You and Savoya had like 10-year contracts. I
think it was just me that did that. Why it came about was Jason, the main guy there, when they started talking to me, he's like, let's want to do something, to make a big splash, make a big talk about, and we want to do a 10-year deal. I'm like, I'm all about being loyal. I want to stay somewhere for a long time. So that was appealing to me. And so I'm like, yeah, let's go for it.
I remember that. Because I almost bought that car. It was like, at that point, I was actually working and I was in Ecuador working in the tunnels. Okay. And my buddy, he is into RC, and he's like, oh, I really like that Durango. And I was like, well, I really like that JQ car that's coming out. Like, And I was like, well, it was between those two, and we ended up not buying either of them. But
it was a beautiful car for sure.
It was
a beautiful piece of machinery. Yeah.
It was. It had like the tank in the if I'm wrong, but it probably had the tank more to the center and
the first ones did, yeah.
And it had a very thin chassis, and it looked like just a slightly bigger 10-scale forward drive. How did you I mean, I can't really remember the results that you had with that, but how did you make out with that?
I think Neo Buggy the 1 year, that's when they signed everybody. They had 5 or 6 of the top drivers in the world, and all of them were struggling at Neo, and I was able to get 5th. And they were all kind of mad in a way. They're like, you making it look good makes us look bad that we're struggling with it, and we can't tell the company that the car doesn't work right because you're doing good with it.
No way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had my races that were a struggle. Some of the bumpy tracks were tough because I think the chassis was actually 4 mils, a thicker one, and didn't have a lot of flex. But there was, I think at the Nationals 1 year, I was leading the semi until I broke something. And I had some good close results in Nationals and at Thornhill here when the track was still outside. I think 1 year I got 3rd in Nitro Buggy and Nitro Truggy. So I've had some good podiums with it.
Yeah, how long did you stay with Durango approximately?
It ended up being 4 years.
Okay. And then we're going to move on to more of your recent career where you moved to Techno, and then actually Durango why would you, this is one question I have. Why do you think Durango failed ultimately?
So in those last couple of years after they got bought by Hobbyco, there just wasn't part support. And I actually got messages from people, private messages on Facebook or whatnot, people saying, how can you support a company that won't even support the customers? They're out of stock on like a spur gear for 5 or 6 months. We can't even run the car. It's a shelf queen, and we can't even run it. And like, how can you support a company like that? And, it's making me look bad and all that stuff. So I just think they weren't able to get the proper part support to support the customers, and just created a bad name.
I don't, I'm gonna ask Joseph one day what's his history of Durango because he has some problem with him. But Joseph has problems with everybody for something.
Right.
You know how JQ is. But
Oh yeah.
I remember when you went over in Savoia, and then it just like, yeah, man, you can't support cars without parts. It's simple.
Yeah.
People want parts, so
Yep.
hey, what
Absolutely.
can you do? So now we move on to Techno.
Yeah.
This is your more recent career, and I personally think you are Techno, even though you aren't Techno no more. But I think you was Mr. Techno, and you made Techno what they are. But how did that come about? That's interesting.
How to start?
Yeah.
Let's see. Techno. So it's even Durango. So like the last 6 months or so of Durango, just when things were starting to get rough with part support and whatnot, I was at a race at Thunder Alley, and Daniel Lewis and Matt were there, and they were just talking with me, and they had actually talked to me the year before saying that they were interested in me driving for them, but they knew I had a 10-year deal or whatnot. But this following year, where it was about 6 months before the end of the year, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to stay. Things got restructured with Great Plains' purchase of them, and I have an out if need be. And so we just talked about the cars, and at the end of the year, we decided to go for it and forge on with them.
So when you went to Techno, were they still? Did they actually have a car? I'm sorry, I'm pretty ignorant to this because I wasn't really into RC at this time. But did they actually have a car, or were they still doing the conversions? I remember Techno was doing the conversions, but
yeah, it wasn't that long ago. They had the e-buggy already. They were, I believe, making the 0.2 of the Nitro or the 0.3. I have a bad memory, but I think they were making the 0.3 already. So they had a couple year under their belt with the program.
Right, but you was the first top guy to go to Techno, pretty much.
Well, they had signed Joe Bornhorst about 2 months before me.
Really, Joe was before you?
Yeah,
I didn't
he
know
was a couple
that.
months. Yeah, he was still, he didn't have the name yet. He was just really hitting the top ranks at that time. So
Okay.
they signed me on, and then became the Ryan and Joe show for a while.
I didn't realize that Joe was on there before you. Joe's still young. He's not old, is he?
No, he's 25.
Wow. Okay. He's come up fast, really fast.
He has. He's used that motocross background that he has to his advantage. He's great at jumping and landing and timing. He's just really good at that. So it's really served him well.
He's young too, so that those young reflexes help.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your time with Techno, man. I mean, like I said earlier, you were Techno, pretty much.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, they had already done something different that other companies hadn't done, the way they structured and built their team originally. They had gone out and got a bunch of regional top team managers around the country, and then they built a nice, regional team. And they had a huge following even before they got pros. So that was pretty cool. And then they brought on Joe and then me, and I think having the pros really solidifies the company. It gives the people that run the cars someone to root for and to get excited about, and to also be able to show what the cars are capable of.
Okay.
So, I think they did things differently, but they've done really well. I mean, I think they have probably the greatest market share in the country right now.
I wouldn't argue with that. What do you think about the Techno's unique car designs?
That's Danny's. He thinks out of the box. A lot of people always say they want to have something that's different. They want companies to innovate and create new things, and that's what he's done. And when they first made a 0.3 buggy with the shocks further out and the longer shocks, it was a learning curve for all of us, because obviously we can't run the same piston package that has been tried and true on all the other vehicles out there.
Right.
So we had to learn all different kinds of piston setup and piston speeds and figuring all that out. And it took a little while. We struggled at a couple of races, but I think we figured it out here those last couple of years, and we put in some really good results.
Yeah, I mean, Techno, I'm for JQ, and that's the arch nemesis of Techno, but Techno is awesome. I mean, you go there and you're awesome. Joe's doing good. You're always helping somebody. The people that run Techno are loyal. Matt is always there with you guys at races. Well, was with you guys at races. Sorry. I think Techno was doing everything that they had to do. And so
they do a great job, and I know they're going to continue doing it. So
yeah, how do you feel? Let's be honest. Do you feel they're going to miss you in the long run, or what? I mean, that's just between.
I mean, Danny really put a lot into me, and he really, I think, liked me a lot, and I'm sure he is going to miss me in some regards, but at the same time, he was able to get a replacement that's equally, if not more so worthy, and they're going to be just fine, and I'm sure they're going to do great with him.
I like that answer, but I like it because I think Tebo is gonna do all right there too as well. I can't wait for you guys. Your showdown next weekend at SIC.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. I think that's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fun.
You versus Tebo versus Joe. It's gonna be awesome.
I think there's gonna be quite a few good guys there this year. It's gonna be some good competition.
Yeah, but I think everybody's gonna be watching that one.
It's very possible.
So, moving on. Your alpha engines. You ran those for years, and I'll be honest with you. I think that was. I saw many races end because of flame outs, and Nemo brings. When you was leading Nemo, I don't remember exactly which year it was, but you was leading and you flamed out with. I believe you was running the alpha engines. Obviously, my question is why the switch? Obviously, Techno came up with their block engines, which is OS based, but your time with alpha engines, how would you explain that?
Yeah, it was about a 7-year thing. It started with RC Pro. At the time, Carlton Epps was running the RC Pro series, and it was a pretty big series in the country.
I remember Carlton.
And yeah, he had RC Pro products, and one of his product lines was the alpha engines, and he got me to try them out and signed me up, and so we started running them, and I stayed with them. I really enjoyed the company. I went over to the factory about 4 or 5 times and did some races over there in Taiwan. People are awesome, and overall the stuff worked well, and they're the ones that prompted me and pushed me to start Lutz RC and allowed me to be the importer once Carlton stepped away from the RC Pro products line. So they helped me to build Lutz RC and to start my own little small business, which was really cool because I never probably would have done it on my own.
Yeah, sometimes we need that push.
Yeah, and overall, I mean, I know people say that the engines held me back, and at times I think it's very possible they didn't have maybe the screaming top end, and I think part of my career is just I'm more towards helping all the regular people. I want them to do better, and it's not always about my results, and I'm willing to sacrifice myself for other people that are enjoying the hobby and supporting me. And the product line was the engine that was more entry level for price wise. You didn't have to have a $500 engine to compete, and I could still be competitive with them. Maybe I missed out on a couple places here or there, and then regarding that Neo buggy race, it always seems like whenever I'm in the lead or doing really well at a big race is when something does happen. I've had my fair share of bad luck, and at that one, somebody actually mentioned to me when I was warming up my car, I think on the last qualifying day, that they heard something and they thought my bearing was going bad, but I had never experienced a bearing going bad in an engine, so I didn't really know what to hear, so I shook it off, and that bearing failed in the main right after I took the lead. Unfortunately,
I remember you was flying.
And what was worse was it wasn't a stock bearing. I always ran my engine stock, and somebody convinced me to put in this other company's ceramic bearing, and that's what failed.
Right. Amazing, isn't it? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Do you feel one of the things I've always said about you, I know you're a great ambassador, but do you feel that had you been a little bit more aggressive in your racing, you would probably have more podiums now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's many things I could have done differently that could have resulted in better race results. But I guess, you guys, I've listened to your other podcasts, which have been great. And you guys are very much into racing and that competition, that top competition. And yes, I like to compete. Yes, I like to do my best, but I also have that soft side, I guess you could say, where I want to help all the hobbyists have fun as well and do their best. And I'm willing to sacrifice my time that could be spent perfecting what I'm doing and instead help them enjoy what they're doing more.
And that's why I believe Nemo and Agama got a great guy with you, because that's what you do. But I would like to see you a little bit more aggressive. I do.
Yeah, well, when we get to the Nemo part, we'll talk more.
On the track, on the track. That's what I want to see you do.
Well, actually, my early career, people complained that I was too aggressive because I drove so hard.
Yeah, well, Robin's racing, dude. They said that. They say that about Spencer Rivkin, and he's a world champion now. You know.
Yep.
So it's when you in order to get to where you have to ruffle some feathers, in my opinion.
Right.
All right. So away from you got Lutz RC. You're still doing Lutz RC though. That's correct, right?
Yeah, it's kind of just like a holding thing at the moment for if I'm able to build up a product line again. You know, I brought in the starter boxes for a little while. I used to carry the PTRC oils, which I just stopped because I'm going to be doing the beta oils, beta oils with Nemo. So it's kind of like I have a couple products here and there, but I still have the site, and then I've now incorporated it into one site, lutzrc.com, that has both my store and my blog on one site.
Yes, and I do enjoy your blog. So let's get to the nitty gritty here, and let's talk about. I read your blog about your when you left Techno, and let's talk about that. I mean, I was shocked. I was honestly shocked, and it seems to me through your blog it was like that they actually let you go. I don't know if that's true.
Yes, yeah, they chose not to re-sign me. So, you know, we have our job as pro racers. Most of us that aren't working at the company, we are 1099 contracted employees, or just a general contractor or independent contractor. So we sign a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, or whatnot. And at the end of that, it's both our decision if we want to resign or not, and also theirs. So at this time, they just decided they didn't want to resign me, and he let me know about a month and a half in advance.
Now, did you feel that was? I know you're strictly an 8-scale, pretty much an 8-scale racer. Does that come down to what we've been hearing is that Techno is looking to venture more into 10-scale as well?
I don't think so. They didn't lead that on to me at all. I mean, I don't think they're going to make a 2-wheel type thing, but like their motto is they're in the business of making RC cars, and it's definitely always possible. And maybe that is something that they were going to do, and I wasn't privy to it. And obviously Tebo is very accomplished in 2-wheel drive and 10 scale in general, and he could definitely help that program if that is the direction that they're looking to go. But I wasn't privy to that.
Was you shocked when they told you that?
Not entirely. I mean, yes and no. We had a little bit of rubbing, I guess, or exchanges behind the scenes. Yeah.
When did it come? Did it come before the Worlds or after the Worlds, or?
It was after the Worlds that
really
we decided. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm still shocked that happened because, like I said, you're Mr. Techno. So I don't know. Man. Do you? Yeah. But I mean, did you guys end on good terms? Are you still friends with them and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Got no hard feelings. It's like I said, it's where I'm a contracted employee or whatnot, and the deal goes both ways, and they just didn't want to resign me, and that's absolutely fine. Their prerogative, and I just will move on and do the best I can for where I end up.
Because I'm not gonna lie, at Fall Brawl, I didn't even know you. I was like, where's Ryan? It was weird. It was so different from all the other races that I went to. And that's when I kind of got the I didn't know anything, but that's when I kind of, I don't know, maybe my spider sense kicked in, and I was like, something doesn't seem right here, you know?
Wasn't out and about talking as much.
Yeah, you wasn't. I didn't even see you there, and I was like, that's not Ryan. Like, usually Ryan's out and about, and usually he stops by the JQ pits. And, you know, I kind of sensed something was up at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I already knew it was over at that point. And I mean, I wanted to go out there at the Fall Brawl and do the absolute best I could for them and put in a really great finishing race. And it was a bummer that I got rained out.
Yes, it was a bummer.
Yep.
But anyway, that's over with because now, after much speculation over silly season, everybody had you going to S-Works. And I thought you was going to S-Works at one point too. But then I got the I got my ear to the ground, and
the Christmas gift gave it away.
No, not even. I knew before the Christmas gift. I honestly knew before the Christmas gift. obviously somehow Joseph finds out these things, and
Yeah, he's pretty intuitive, and he deducts reasoning on all of it and figures it out pretty good.
So when I was telling people he's going to Agama, he was like, "No way, he's not going to Agama." I'm like, "He's going to Agama.
Yeah,
He's going to Agama," and then Billy started putting out when I knew that he was going to Agama was he's over 6 foot tall. I was like, come on, you people can't see this,
right.
and I thought it was great, man. So here we are. How did you touched on your blog, but how did the move to Agama come about?
Right. So you guys know that I have faith and I believe in Christ, and I pray about all the big decisions in my life. And so when Techno was over, I was just praying what God had for me. If it was staying in RC, if it was something out of RC, I just left it up in His hands. And about a week later or so, I had written down, because I know RC, so I had written down all the companies in RC and was kind of weighing my options, like knowing a lot of the situations that a lot of the companies are in, just trying to feel like which one might be the best fit to contact or to talk to, or did I even want to go there or whatnot. And I hadn't written Agama down yet. And all of a sudden it came to my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't written that Agama. So I thought about it for a second, and then I jumped on Facebook, planning to go to try to look them up a little bit, learn more about them. And I saw that Kevin Lee had just left Techno.
Right.
And I was like, I was just in South Korea with him 2 weeks earlier. And he said he was going to stay at Techno because he loved us so much.
Right.
And I was like, what's going on? So I private messaged him really quick. I said, where are you going? And he said, Agama. I'm like, to someone else, that might be a coincidence. To me, that's a sign. That's something pointing me that direction. So I initially had him reach out to the Agama factory, and to be honest, the number they came back with wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't enough for me to make a living doing what I'm doing and to be able to give it the full support I can. So I let it die for a week or two, and then we went to the fall brawl. And then since we got rained out, I was having some conversations with someone, and they prompted me to contact Billy. And I didn't really know Billy at the time too well. I remember hearing about him at races, but they said he's a really good guy and you should contact him. So I messaged him and said, you're able to talk? And he said, yeah. And he sent me his email, and we just started talking. And every single email he sent back to questions I had or anything was like exactly what I would have wanted to hear. It was like amazing. It was just like a perfect fit. I'm like, this is the sign. This is where God wants me to go and to do right now. And so that's why I'm here.
As you know, we did our silly season podcast the other day, and Jeff and JQ have their opinions, but I'm happy for Billy. I'm happy for Billy. I'm happy for Nemo. I've met Billy. I've hung around with. We've talked, and when he signed, I knew beforehand. I was like, man, I'm happy for you. I know what's happening, but he wouldn't tell me. But I was like, I'm happy for you because that gives me hope. I don't even know what my position is at JQ Racing. I'm just a 9-to-5 guy, but I mean, I think Agama actually got the best guy they can get to represent their brand. Do I think the pressure's on you? I definitely think the pressure's on you more than probably the other guys, but you've done this before.
Yeah.
And if he would have got a Tebo or a Cavalieri, it wouldn't be the same. So he got the right guy for the job. And
yeah,
I mean, I kind of feel for you because you're kind of starting over, and it seems like you always get to a plateau and then you have to start over. But that's a true test of one's will and testament. So how do you feel about that? Like that you have to kind of start over again?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. Maybe I will. Matt Walter actually put it really prominently to us at the last race we were at Southern Nationals, I think. He said, for instance, drivers like Joe, they drive by memory. They remember how much throttle they give at certain points of the track to make jumps just perfectly, and that's why he's so good at timing. Whereas I drive in the moment. I don't remember what throttle I gave it in this corner. I don't remember how I drove that corner. I'm just driving the track that I'm given when my car's on it at that moment. And it's just, maybe that's why I don't have that elite driving ability either, because I'm not great at jump timing and I make mistakes, often overshooting or undershooting. But anyways, so Billy he even told me, he said his number one option that he wishes he could have had would have been like to have Darren Bloomfield move to Texas and race for him. And he said his other number one option was for me. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't believe that I was available when it all happened, and they were very excited and they really worked hard to make it happen. Yeah,
Bloomfield was actually is a very underrated driver. He's a European champion. I met him while I was over in England. He's an awesome ambassador. He came over in 2017 and kicked butt at Southern Nets.
Yeah.
It's too bad that he isn't racing RC right now, but I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, Joseph says it all the time. He's like when people ask who's the one guy you would sign, he always says you.
I know, I can't believe it.
You should pray for him, because he's gonna need prayer, because I'm coming for him soon.
I do all the time, but
he's gonna need it when I see him next time in person.
Right on.
But all right. Well, now that you've driven the car for, I guess you. So how did this? Okay, this is my question to you. How did this work? Did you get cars and build them, or did you come down to Texas, and hang out, which you are doing now, and Billy had already built them and you just drive them?
It's a hodgepodge of half and half of all that. So they sent me a Nitro buggy, and I got that together, so that was ready to go when I got here. But he had a couple of his other team guys. The Truggy that I'm running is actually Darren's old truck that he ran, so it's pretty clapped out, but it's good enough for right now. And then the e-buggy they built up for me for when I got here, so I had to get here and put all my electronics and whatnot inside of it. And then we also have an e-Truggy that I have a conversion for that we still have yet to put the electronics in. Got to try to find time in the next 2 days to do that. It's been madness putting cars together, trying to run different tracks that we've been to, and doing a meet and greet the other day, doing the fuel testing. It's been nonstop, 12 to 15 hour days. I mean, I normally go to bed at 9 or 10 at night, and I'm not going to bed till 1, 2, 3 in the morning right now.
Yeah, at the moment we're talking right now, it's almost 1 a.m. here for me, and it's 11 for you. So.
It's 11 here in Texas, yeah.
So, all right, this is what I want to know. What's your first impressions of the car?
Easier to drive, and easier to drive and a little less twitchy. So a couple of things that I've really wanted and I feel will help my driving and being more consistent.
That I can see that, because that's one of the things I've heard about. I've never driven a Techno, but the one thing I've always heard is that it's a very twitchy car, and the Nitro car. I'm sorry, not the e-buggy and the Truggy. I've heard are really great. Obviously, the results have shown that. So with 2019 coming up, what's the plan? I mean, you're like at PNB, you race so many classes, but now you're just gonna run e-buggy and Truggy and Nitro buggy is the focus. What's the plan for 2019 with Nemo and Agama?
Oh, it's also going to be the e-Truggy as well. I think if
are
we
you
can
gonna
get
run,
it done.
Are you really going to run e-Truggy?
We're going to be nuts at SIC in 5 days from now and try to run 4 classes.
E-Truggy? Really?
It's awesome. It's the most fun. Like I said, I'm a racer for the people.
Oh, my God.
They love e-Truggy, especially in the Southeast.
They do. They really do love e-Truggy.
And plus, I gotta do some backflips. People love the backflips.
Yes, the backflips are awesome. But
yeah.
So you're gonna still run 4 classes at SIC.
Yep, and Psycho Nitro, I'm sure as well. Yep.
You're a sucker for
punishment.
punishment.
And actually, Billy even mentioned they had made a short course conversion a couple years ago.
Oh Lord. Oh no! Don't do it, Billy. Don't
do it.
Don't do it. Just let him run. I mean, you're stretching with e-Truggy.
I'm right this week we're stretching with just trying to do 3. Yeah, it's crazy.
So 2019 we got SIC next week, which is going to be epic. It's going to be this is how I'm billing it. It's Lutz versus Tebo and Techno and I'm sorry, the average Joe Bornhorst. I'm sorry, I have to say that because Joseph would kill me if I didn't say that. But Joseph's the average Joe. But you're going up against the new guy at Techno and your old teammate. Is it like all out war now? It's got to be.
I mean, obviously, I always want to win, and I'm going to do my best, and it's icing on the cake to beat those guys all the time. So, me and Joe always had a rivalry. I mean, we were doing our teammate challenge that one year, and so every single point difference we had for finishing position, we added up all the points, and whoever the lowest points at the end of the year was the winner, and he had to pay me $100 that first year, and then he quit and didn't do it again the second year.
Do you think you can beat him next SIC next week?
Oh, I can, yeah. If things go right,
I love it.
I feel like I can win any race. I've not always had the luck, but
yeah, it takes
this year's gonna be different. Billy's a lucky guy, so
yeah. I'm gonna be watching it. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. So, what are you guys' goals for this year, 2019?
Well, we got the new cars coming out in March for the buggies, hopefully, and then a couple of new parts on the truggy coming sometime around midsummer. So just kind of really growing the brand. Right now, Nemo USA is Billy Tylaska. I mean, it's a very small operation, and that guy, he does so much work and works so hard. He is awesome. And right now he's probably at the limit of what one guy can do. And hopefully with me coming on, I can help him and help this company grow to where he can add on another employee or whatnot. And we can really just make it grow the presence of Agama in the United States, especially, and around the world, hopefully.
Yeah, I posted on my Facebook today at the British Grand Prix that they're having over there in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey man, the Nemo Yokomo pits is looking dialed. That light gray, hey, I love it. Even it looks great, man. That's what we need, more professionalism in RC. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some new tent covers coming, I think, in a week or two, he said. So we'll be ready for Nitro Challenge with those. So be looking good like you guys.
Yeah, well, but you guys might actually have a fast guy. We don't, we just have Joseph. So,
Joe dropped the ball.
Yeah, he did. He most definitely dropped the ball. But we maybe we wasn't ready. So
maybe not.
We just have to keep
one more year.
Keep on building, man. Keep on grinding, and hopefully
that's right.
That's what it comes down to. That's why I'm happy for Billy, because it's all a grind, man.
He's been grinding a lot. He's like, something else.
Like we say, we're the small guys, and we're fighting the game. We're David, and they're Goliath.
That's right.
So I like to use that example. So you're 34 years old now, Ryan?
Yeah, just turned 34.
So you got 4 kids.
Yes.
Wow, I have 2, and I don't know how you do 4. So I just had a little girl, and she's driving me crazy. So
nice. How old is she?
2 months.
2 months.
And
nice.
she's fat as a tick, man. She's taking right after her dad, But
good food.
Oh yeah. Good money spent on milk. That's what it comes down to. 34 years old. I mean. You're I would say, I don't want to say you're near the end of your career, but it's coming up. I would say that. Yeah. I mean, I think maybe you can go to 38. I mean, Drake's still going. He's 40.
Yeah.
Cavallari says he can go to 40. Mayfield says the same thing. How many years left do you think you have in RC?
I don't know. It's up to God for my life. It's his plan, but I easily could say it could be 40, or there's just so many different avenues you can take in this hobby. There's the driving side, and then I think I bring something different than the other top drivers to an extent, and I think that might give me even more longevity.
I agree.
Than some of them. So
I agree, because that leads into my next question. After RC, where do you see yourself?
I don't entirely know. I know I spent so much time in RC that utilizing all that time towards something else, I could be great at doing something else. So we will see when the time comes. I always think about it, and when that time comes and the ideas come, then that's what'll happen.
Okay, I can vouch for that. I can say, you don't know what's gonna happen, man. It's
not promised tomorrow. So.
That you aren't. Who would ever, I agree with you, man. You just got to go with it and make the best of it while you can.
That's right. 100% every day.
110 or 100? I saw somebody
100.
say that.
It's math.
I know. I gotta bring up. Actually, you just reminded me because I actually gotta bring up this. There's like a lot of people ask questions, man. I gotta ask them. So I gotta bring that up. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
A couple of more questions here. And on your then and now, let's talk about then and now. Things that stand out from working with your time with Kyosho, Tamiya, Durango, and Techno. How would you compare them?
You still there?
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm here. Then and now,
gotcha.
let's go. It's then and now. Things that stand out from working with Kyosho, Tamiya, Durango, and Techno. Like, how would you compare it?
Just doing my blog that I just did, talking about the olden days more so, and then looking at some of my paint jobs from when I was with Kyosho, and just seeing it just seems like we're so much further and more professional nowadays, and we make sure everything's just in better condition and newer and nicer, and it's gotten, I think, more professional in a way. We got all these easy ups and tents, and it's just continuing to look more professional at the big races that we do go to. And the tracks obviously are getting smoother, bigger, higher grip, and for the most part, and getting rid of some of the tracks that I really love, the really bumpy and loose and dusty ones like the Silver State and whatnot. But
I agree. I agree with that.
Competition's getting higher with the tires, especially.
I think the tire game is the biggest thing in RC right now. So
yeah, it's gotten big.
How do you feel? I think the competition period is getting better. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm a big proponent about the European guys. I think they're I think they're much faster now because they just concentrate on 8 scale. So maybe that will transfer. I'm not saying that you're not fast. Obviously, you're fast, but maybe now that you just concentrate on 8 scale only, maybe you pick up some more speed and do things. But a lot of people have to understand that's not coming right away. It takes time as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna see. We're gonna give it our all, and if the car fits my driving, and so far it seems like it should, and get Billy having a steady pick guy that's gonna be there every race just for me and helping me out and making my program good. I think we're gonna turn some heads this year with the Agamas.
I think so too. I think having that right pick guy is very important, and that's one thing we was talking about in the last podcast, is actually having the on track support. Somebody that knows the car and can help you out and you're comfortable with. It goes a long way.
It's huge.
Yeah, in nitro racing is really huge.
It's huge, yep.
So I agree with there. So here's a question I have for you. What was your most competitive car and what year was it?
Does just buggies or truggies?
Buggies. We talk more.
Buggies. We talk buggies. I mean, the Techno that I just ran, that I was winning at Neo with, and that year I qualified second, I think, every qualifier behind Cav. I mean, he was just like half a second to a second faster than me every run, and I was getting second every run. And then in the main, I was dialed, and I got the lead, and then had the engine failure. So it's just, I've had those flashes of moments that where everything was lined up, and then that's when stuff always happens, and I don't get that win that could be like a hallmark of my career, but keep pressing on.
Do you think that's because you've been close? That's but the big wins in buggy. I mean, you've won in truggy and e-buggy, but the big wins in nitro buggy, which we say is Nitro is the glory here at the No Name RC podcast. Do you think why do you think you just haven't got that big win?
I think kind of what you said, there's those young kids, you got the Rivkins, the Tessmans, and that program that they have with, especially Tessman, having his dad and his mom and them all working together and being able to test a lot and really know each other in their program and just dialing the pit stops and just being totally comfortable. That's huge. And, Ungaro has the same thing. And that's so hard to compete against, especially when just don't have that same, grouping of help around you. I mean, yes, I've had lots of help, but it's not the same as one's like family in a way. And you're just doing it all the time together. And, I got second at the Nationals behind Tebo in 2017, and I felt like I had the win on that one. I was in a groove, came in for my last pit stop, and I even looked down and saw, I think it was Noah Dickerson looking up at me at the front of pit lane. And I'm like, I got this. Like I mouthed, I got this, and then I go out and crash on the next lap and blew it. So I felt like that was a chance that I had there that I gave away, and otherwise just here and there when stuff is good, I just have some bad luck.
Yeah, I mean, luck plays a part in it. I would I would like to see you just a touch, but more aggressive. And I think I've always said that about you. I think if you're such a nice guy on and off the track. I just think if you was just a touch more aggressive on the track, you would definitely win more. So I'm hoping that's my life coach to you today. Be a little bit more aggressive. I'm nobody, but that's what I would like to see you do.
I'll take that, and we'll see what happens this year.
All right, man. These new influx of young racers, man. We got these young kids coming up. We got these young kids that their parents are taking them out of school. They're putting them in homeschool. They're forcing them to race. I mean, they're fast. We got some. We got the CJ Jellins. We got the who else? The Fullers. The Rinderkernecks. These kids are young. Uh-huh. They're racing a lot of 10 scale. They're racing 8 scale. They're fast. I mean, do you think you can compete with these kids? I mean, they're coming fast. Like it's not. I'm not talking about 2 years from. I'm not talking about 4 years from now where they're going to be competing. I'm talking like I think they're going to be like up there next year.
Yeah, they are. Or even this year, it could all happen with some of them. And it's the one nice thing about, I guess, 8 scale and Nitro especially is that it does take more than just the driver sometimes, and having that team is important, and having knowledge of Nitro is important too. Those long mains are different than these 5 and 10 minute qualifiers, and you have to adjust for that and be prepared for that. So there's definitely some experience that goes into it, which I have from all the years of doing this, and I just got to use the most of that and just keep trying to improve myself and trying to keep up with them.
I think you'll be all right, man. I honestly think you're gonna prove JQ's point this year.
Yeah,
I think you are. Prove JQ right. That's the goal. That's a good goal.
Although he did say that, I think he mentioned that Tebo was gonna whoop me at SIC. I think you all said that.
We'll see. We'll see, because did he say? I can't remember. I have to go back and check.
Well, y'all said he would win. You chose him to win, or you chose him to have a better year, or something like that. I
said I'll be surprised if you don't win a race this year. I believe I said that because I want you to win. Because I like you. You're awesome.
Well, what's a race? Which races constitute as a race?
I think you have to one of the big, like you got DNC, Silver State, and I would say PMB. Nationals, and it depends how many people come to like AMS, Wicked Weekend, those type of races, because it's a 10 scale year, so a lot of people are gonna be off to those races. But I mean, you will definitely win those. I mean, you win those races anyway. But I mean, I think I want to see you up there battling, man. That's what I want to see.
That's the plan. I'm feeling good about it. So
that's all that matters.
We're gonna make it happen.
Confidence is key. Confidence is key. All right, let's move on a little bit here. Let's talk about the state of RC, because I heard this coming up a lot. I have my opinions on this. I am definitely a big proponent of growing RC. I definitely think RC needs more professionalism. I'm a big proponent of RCGP, as you know. You was at one point as well. I don't know how you feel about that now, but give me your opinion on the state of RC, and then I'll give me your opinion on the RCGP.
Yeah, I think it's got pockets. There's some areas of the country and tracks that are doing awesome, and they're promoting well and getting a lot of new guys there. For instance, I was just at Indy RC this week for a couple of days, and they had a Tuesday night club race, and they had 6 people who had never raced before there to race that night.
That's awesome.
So they're doing awesome stuff to bring new people in every single week.
Yes, Indy's great.
Yeah. So, there's pockets that are really good, and then there's areas that are struggling, obviously. I think tires are what most people would attribute a lot of the cost and struggle with is just trying to be able to compete with tires because, you know, us at the top, at least, we're having to do like one runs at a lot of the races we go to compete with each other. And obviously that's extremely expensive. Back when I grew up, I ran a set of Kyosho Hard X's for an entire year.
Yep.
So it's not even close.
So I agree with you there. Totally.
Yeah. And then the RCGP, I think it sounds, I mean, being a competitor, it sounds awesome. I always like competing against the best. I love the world championships. I love going to the biggest races to do that. And to be able to do that 4 times a year sounds awesome. And I really hope it does succeed and is able to bring in new people. The one question I guess I could pose to you would be, you guys have mentioned reaching people that don't know about racing or RC in general. And I just feel that, say, Traxxas, at least in the US, I guess, Traxxas, I feel, has reached every single person that would be interested in motorsports. You know, they have all the sponsorships in drag racing and core trucks and motorbikes and everything. And so, and they're at those races doing their stunts and have the demos and everything. I just feel like everybody knows that RCs are there and that they're capable of these stunts and this durability nowadays and the speeds. And it's more, why don't like a company go to Traxxas and put in a promotional flyer in each Traxxas kit, pointing people to show them that they can race vehicles too. Something like that. I
agree with that because I think people don't know that we actually race. And I've said that over and over. I think we treat our hobby, our sport. I call it a sport. I compare it to underground dog fighting ring. We all go to some place in the middle of nowhere and we race. We all wear black hoodies and we race RC cars around, and we don't promote it. I think if we actually if you actually say, like you said, how you go, Traxxas goes to these big races, one-on-one races, they're at motocross, all that type of stuff. If you actually took the best in the industry, made a track at one of these races, and then promoted it properly. Like, one thing I will say about last year was when we went to the Nationals last year, they actually had a pamphlet, a booklet, and it put every racer and their car color and, you know, explain. I think that's awesome. So let's say we get RCGP takes this, and let's say you're a part of it. So we have Ryan Lutz with his paint scheme and this, and we have a brief history about Ryan Lutz. He's on the track. All right, so people know what to look for with your car. Okay, that's the pink and blue car, you know, and that's Ryan Lutz because they look at the pamphlet. And then you have the commentator that's commentating towards the average person. Because let's be realistic. When you go to RC races, just calling out lap times is boring. But if you watch RC Racing TV, which I'm a big fan of, with like Nick Damon and those guys, they actually commentate a race. So if you take that and promote RC to the average person, but then it's not just about promoting it to the average person. Then you would say I saw RCGP. I think it's cool. I want to know about. I live in Texas. Where can I find out more about RC? Hey, here's some links on our webpage for RCGP, Indy RC, Thornhill, these type of places. You know, you can go to these type of places. They have tracks attached to them. You can learn something. That's where I think RCGP does a good job of getting new people in, exposing it to the general public, showing, promoting the best. Because, you know, come on, let's be realistic. We want to see I want to see you race against everybody else. You know,
it's fun to watch.
I like to race. I mean, I'm coming to DNC next month. I'm not coming. You know, I'm looking forward to watching the finals. Like, you know, and you know, I'm not racing, but I'm going to enjoy watching it. But I think people will enjoy that as well. But I also feel that RCGP needs to then take those people that they expose it to and point them in the right direction to get into the hobby. So I think that's needed as well. It's not, people would say, oh, it's taking away from club racing and stuff like that. No, I don't think it is. I think we actually need to put the club back into club racing, you know, because not every track has a hobby shop attached to them. I think tracks like Indy are doing a great job. Beach RC is doing a great job. OCRC, all these like I would say hobby shops with a track. But I think what we've lost in America, well, I'm sorry, I'm not American, but what I've seen in America that we've lost is actual clubs that have a track. If you go to Europe, there are clubs that have tracks, or clubs that make up, obviously maybe they don't have a track, but they put some carpet on, they put jumps up, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think if RCGP is successful in promoting to the average person and then pointing them in the right direction that they need to go to get into the hobby, for sure, we have to do it. I mean, something has to happen because we can't keep recycling the same people over and over again and expecting different results.
Right. No,
So-
I like it. I like the idea, and I applaud you guys for really pushing forward with it, and definitely hope it's successful.
I do too, because I think it puts a line of professionalism that then gives people to strive towards in RC.
Yeah.
So then you are actually a professional RC car driver.
Right.
And then okay, we have this. All right, this is what I have to do to become one of you, something like you.
Right.
So I think it's a big thing. It's a lot of things that need to happen, but we definitely need to get more. The more people that are racing RC cars, the better it is for every manufacturer out there. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. All right, man. I know you're tired. We've been on here for an hour, but we have to do the fast race 10 questions, 10 second segment.
All right.
And we're going to do this real quick so you can go relax and then, get ready because you got a big race tomorrow. So I'm going to do my introduction for this. This is the fastraceshop.com 10 questions, 10 second segment. Fastraceshop.com is an Italian company that makes awesome products for cars with their honeycombed shock bladders and shock caps. If you go to fastraceshop.com, enter Lefty 2019, you get 10% off your purchase. So Ryan Lutz, are you ready for the 10 questions in 10 second segment?
I am ready, sir.
All right. Favorite racing class?
Nitro buggy.
Awesome answer. Favorite race?
The old Kyosho Challenge in Freedom Hill in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, yeah. I saw that picture on your blog. Right.
Yeah,
very
that
nice.
was awesome.
If RC didn't exist, you would...
Be a professional bowler.
Really?
I wanted to be a professional bowler before I knew I could be a professional RC racer.
Are you good at bowling?
High game 299.
That's like almost perfect. That's like
Yeah.
1 point away from perfect.
First 11 strikes in a row, missed the last one.
Wow. All right. Best advice you ever got?
Boy, do your best 100% all the time.
All right. Hardest thing about being a professional RC racer?
Being away from the family.
I agree. Best country you have visited?
Australia.
Australia. Really, like with killer greats and...
Yeah, everything will kill you there. It's awesome.
Yeah, they have ants that might kill you,
Right.
If you had to learn a foreign language, what would it be?
I attempted to learn Spanish when I was in high school, and I had a report card with 6 A's and an F. I just don't do language.
Do no habla español.
No habla español. I would like to learn. I wish I knew Mandarin.
All right, well, that will probably come in handy.
Yeah.
Have you ever lost your temper? If so, when and over what?
Growing up, when I was younger, I had a very bad temper, and I would punch walls. I would toss at the track. I would toss my car back on our pit table. This was before I was sponsored, just a youngster. So I've grown up a lot.
Yeah, guys don't do that. That people don't like that.
Yeah.
Number one rival in RC.
I'm just here to beat Joe Bornhorst.
Oh. Okay. What does your wife yell when you're working on your RC cars for too long? That's number 10, by the way.
We've got we're understanding now, and I try to put it all up at 5:00, and that's the end of my day. And
Okay.
doesn't really yell. It's more like a look, I guess.
Yeah.
And you just know.
Yeah, I know. I got that look today when I was like, I'm going to do this podcast at 12:00. She's like,
Yeah. Sorry about that.
nah, no worries, man. No worries. I do have a couple of questions here. I'm sorry. I forgot on our Facebook page. That
Sure.
I'm gonna just trying to find them. Where are they? Okay. A few people have asked questions, and I'll go through them. Brian McKinty goes, do you want your wheel wrench back from Neo 2011?
Nope. Consider it a gift, sir.
Okay. Ashley Side says, nicest guy in RC, always answers questions, even if it's a very newbie question.
Do my best.
Ken Spencer, how did Joe take the news?
He was pretty sad. He's still pretty sad. He misses me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's good.
When I first came up, he said I was who he looked up to, and then when we started driving together, he definitely pushed away from that, and was like, Ryan who?
Yeah.
And then I leave, and then he's like, I miss Ryan.
He's got to break out of the fanboyism, man. Got to.
Right. Yeah.
Gotta be a champion. Guys are asking about your goggles.
Yeah, my eyes are very sensitive to wind, especially when I'm tired, and just a little bit of wind and my eyes will tear up, and then it gets blurry and I can't see. So wear the goggles and keep my eyes clear so I can do my best.
Okay. One guy says, when you ran Alpha, Wayne Williams says, Ryan Lutz, when you ran Alpha, you really had a hard time with mileage. Seems like blocks were a dream come true. Tons of torque and mileage. Now you're with Bullet, which is, well, Bullet is OS based as well.
Yeah.
He's kind of goes on to say that. He actually has a bunch of questions. Any concerns when you leaped into the unknown?
There's always a concern, I guess, of how it's going to go, but I felt led to this, so I know I'm going to be taken care of regarding it, and I know Billy is a really hard worker, and that it's going to be all right. I'm just going to do my best and let the chips fall how they may.
Do you think there will be a Ryan Lutz edition in the future?
For the engines, I'm not sure. We're going to have fuel, though.
Yeah, I saw that. You was even mixing it. You're a chemist now?
Yeah. It was, one of the guys from VP was there working on some different formulations. And, yeah, I saw it'd be a cool picture to show him mixing it up. And
it was awesome.
That's what I'm running this weekend.
Awesome. He also asks, what has been the biggest relief with the new buggy?
Probably just easy to drive. So it's just nice to have a car that I can just really push and seems easy to drive, and hopefully that translates to consistency for me everywhere I go.
Okay, that actually answers his second question. All right, Tyler Evans. I know Tyler very well. He goes, what would be the most influential advice you could give a sportsman driver or even open driver for big races?
My motto, 100% of the time. Some people get so frustrated when they make a mistake, and in those classes you're going to have crashes every once in a while. So it's just being able to put your focus back on the track and the task at hand immediately, and not losing your focus and being upset about something that happened.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now my buddy Joe Zaire Jr., he has a question. He goes, after you retire from pro racing, are you going to try other racing disciplines? Example, 12 scale or drag racing?
It's really hard to say. I love RC, and I'm sure I'll still do it in some respects here or there. So whatever kind of track is close to me, or if my kids want to join in and do something, I'm open to whatever. I like driving any kind of RC car.
Okay. Steven Zarzaki, I think that's how you say his name. Steven actually sent me a really good message this weekend. Thank you, Steven. He goes, how do you mentally prepare for a big race? Any tips for not letting nerves or negative thoughts take over your race day?
I'm not the greatest at it yet, but having a keyword that just gets you focused and can bring you back. So if you're up there and you're getting nervous, just having something that you can say that means something to you, that can just calm you down. So find something that's important to you that you can just say it and can get your focus back.
Okay. Here's my buddy Jimmy DePrez, and this is actually a question I have for you because I asked the same thing to Tebo. Because I have a family now, and I've been away. I actually spent quite a bit of time away from them last year. Sorry. He wants to know. Jimmy DePrez, who's a good friend of mine, says, "How do you manage and balance racing and family life?"
It's tough. For me, it's fortunate. It's my career. It's how I make a living. So there's the understanding in that. When it's not your living, it's definitely a harder answer to that question. So it's just, you gotta, happy wife, happy life is very important. And just know that your family is the most important thing to you.
I would definitely say that. I mean, I'm even struggling with that, and I don't travel nowhere as much as you, but it's difficult, man. It's difficult being away from home, and people don't realize that. That's part of the struggle of like, people think it's all glamorous. Like, it's not all glamorous, dude. Like,
right. And it's not just the time away from home either. It's when you are home, it's how many cars you have to work on to rebuild, prepare for the next races, all the social media and everything that, drivers of yesteryear didn't have to worry about. And that all takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy from the time I wake up to the time I go sleep, man.
Oh, yeah, it's nonstop. People ask if you have any other hobbies. I'm like, no, I do RC and my family, and that's all I have time for.
Oh, man. I even wish I raced, but I don't even race anymore. I'm just
too busy working.
Too busy dealing with RC on a 24-hour basis, man.
Yep.
It's a challenge. Well,
absolutely.
I think that's all of our questions for tonight, man. I want to thank you for coming on board. I definitely wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to SIC next week. I'm gonna be rooting for you because I like Billy and I like Agama and I like the small guys, so I'm always gonna root for them. And Billy got a good deal with you, man. Seriously, I think it was the best move of silly season. Best move besides us signing Jeff and Bobby. But
oh yeah, right on. I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys made some big moves, that's for sure.
Hey man, we baby steps. But I look forward to, man. I'll see you at DNC. I'll see Billy at DNC, and I really wish you all the best. And I appreciate you coming on to the No Name RC podcast for your time. I know you're busy, and get some sleep, man, and let's go. You got a race tomorrow, so.
That's right. I appreciate you having me on, Keenan. It's been really good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And hey, tell Billy I said what's up.
All right, will do.
All right, man. Hey, so what's up, guys? Welcome to the JQ Racing Rant segment of the podcast. I have JQ here, fresh back from Vietnam, fresh off of TQing and winning and becoming a millionaire. He won 7 million Vietnam dong. So, Joseph, now that you're a millionaire, we can go hire a top driver, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
But they're all signed, so we're not going to do that.
So how much actually is 7 million Vietnam dong?
It's like $300 US.
Oh, so we really couldn't sign anybody anyway if we wanted to.
Maybe for a day.
Yeah, probably not even for
qualifying.
So I was going to rant on you, but I think I ripped you a decent one the last time around. But there's lots of things I can rant on. So, you won.
This rant segment was basically sponsored by JQ Racing, so I could rant.
Yeah, well, you rant enough. You do enough ranting on Facebook to suffice. You don't have to rant anymore. Which I can rant. I can actually rant about your ranting. But I won't.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, but it's coming. Don't worry. You're going to piss me off at some point here that it's going to happen. But how was Vietnam? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. I'd never been there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's like a combination of China and like a Thailand or something like that.
Okay. The track looked really good. I enjoyed it. I watched your 30 minutes of your main. I like the fact that it was pretty flowing. They had rhythm jumps. There wasn't no real big break your car jumps. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the surface and the layout. So they used some kind of glue. They put some kind of glue on the track, and it made it sort of kind of medium grip. So the car would still slide, but there was still good forward bite, and you could still traction roll if you really tried hard. So it was really consistent throughout the race, and also the layout was super nice, flowing and nice jumps. I liked it. So it was fun to just drive around.
Did you have any type of competition there? I know that guy from Thailand was on you in the main. I know in the main you got brake checked or you messed up or something. You started 4th too, so you didn't finish too good in your semi, I take it.
Yeah, I had to change a tire. See, I don't know what happened there. I think I had a bad glue bottle or bottle of glue because my glue ran out, and I took another bottle and I glued my set of tires for the semi, and then they came off. So I had to change one tire, and then a front tire came off, but I just finished the race with it.
Okay.
So obviously, because I had to stop and change a tire, then I didn't win my semi, and I started 4th in the main. And then in the main, the 3rd place guy kind of went and then stopped, and well, I didn't know he was going to stop, so I just ran into the back of him and flipped over, and then I was dead last.
Yeah, but you did a good job of coming back. It was a great race. We only saw half an hour of it, but I think it was good, man. RC is really growing in Asia. I know David Lim. We know him. We call him Crazy David. He's pushing hard over there at Art Hobbies.
RC is still quite small in Vietnam, I think, because what's the word I'm looking for? Like the standard of living for the Vietnamese still has to go up somewhat for RC to become a bigger hobby. But at least it exists, and they have a few tracks, I guess. And I think this is by far the best they have. And this international race hopefully helps to grow the RC racing scene over there. Most of the races, I mean, there was about 100 drivers there.
Okay.
And most of them coming from other countries. There weren't that many from Vietnam, but I think it's still impressive that they were able to get so many drivers there.
Yeah.
Even though the local scene is relatively small.
Well, I think I was just saying RC period in Asia is growing, not just in Vietnam, but in Asia period. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
I don't know if it's growing or not, but I think that the facilities, the tracks, the presentation, all of that is just getting more professional. And I think if it's growing anywhere, then it's growing in China. That's sort of where it's growing. I don't know that it's growing in the other countries where it's already existed, like Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, these countries. But it's growing in China, and China is a huge market. So once it becomes bigger there, then it can grow the whole of RC, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. Grow the pie bigger and everybody eats. So no rant for you this week. You are saved. You done well. And, you had a great race. But I do want to talk about it. We're going to do like a shared rant. And it's not a rant per se, but some observations that I made this weekend.
It's a rant segment, so it has to be a rant.
All right, well, let's make it a rant then. My rant. And I always say this. I say we treat RC like an underground dogfighting ring. We hide it in these obscure places, and we have these races, and we're all wearing black hoodies and black T-shirts, and with all these sponsors on them, and that's fun. It's cool to us because we know what's happening, but for the general public, they have no idea what's going on, right? Because they're like just some weirdos over there playing with toy cars. That's what people think. I happen to think RC is extremely cool, and everybody should check it out. So, with that being said, we had 2 races this weekend that I followed. Both 10 scale races. Both are 10 scale races, and both are really good races. One is, I think it's second year, and I don't know for sure, but I think it's the second year that they've done it. The other one has been around for 32 years, and that's the CRCR RC race in Ohio. Great indoor facility. This race is 32 years old. They have a 10 scale race, and then next week they have an 8 scale race. The 8 scale race should be a lot bigger. So you had the race at CRCRC. Guys did well. Had a lot.
The sound is shit right now.
Well, it's not. I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine. You sound clear. So maybe it's on your end, but you're coming fine through
You don't
clear.
sound clear.
You said that last time. All right, it's your third row janky internet.
Okay.
So, CRCRC race, 32nd year, Had a lot of top pro guys there. Dakota Fenn done well. He won 3 classes. Drayton Staub, he won both stock classes. Big race. Great for RC. Big RC race, right? Big 10 scale race. Then, over on the other side of the pond, as we like to say, in Milton Keynes, you had the UK GP, which was a 10 scale carpet race, but inside of
MKGP, wasn't it?
No, it's called the British GP, I believe. You're going to make me look this up.
MKGP.
All right.
You want to rant about that?
I want to rant about that because here are 2 big races, but which one was better for RC in general? Was the MKGP better for RC? Because it was inside of a mall. People that don't know about RC got exposed to it. You know, I mean, the Nemo had a badass pit setup with their light gray. The BRCA, which is the British RC Association, had a booth set up with their easy ups and
British Federation for RC racing.
Yeah, they had everything set up for new people. I believe somebody even said they had a track on the side for people to come and try cars and stuff like that. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was an oval or anything like that, but they had fast guys. I mean, Coelho was there, Martin Bio was there, the fast English guys were there. But which of these 2 races, in my opinion, were better for RC and promote RC to new people? It was obviously the MKGP or British GP, as I like to call it, which I think it's called. Which one is better? Obviously, I believe the one in England because it exposes new people. How many people got to see RC at this race, at this mall, a busy shopping mall in the middle of a mall? What do you think about that?
Well, I think this is something that, for whatever reason, people have a hard time understanding. And I don't really understand. I don't understand why. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 different kinds of races. There's the races we have only for the RC racers themselves at well-known established facilities. That's great.
Yeah.
Then there are other races like this one that you set up in a shopping mall where a lot of new people can see them. And those are 2 different races. And I don't understand why both can't exist and why everyone can't support both kinds of races. See, it seems like people want to choose one over the other. And I don't understand that kind of thinking. Why can't we have both? Why can't there still be a Neo race in a shed somewhere in the middle of nowhere, or now the DXR Dirt Kings? That's fine. That's a great race to have. CR, whatever it is, that's fine. That's a great race to have. But so is this MKGP. And I feel like as an industry, when there are these sorts of races, they should be supported more. Yes, the established races at RC facilities are good and they aren't going anywhere and everyone supports them. But when someone tries to do something like this, I think it should be supported more than it is today. And personally, I don't understand why people don't, not really the races. The races do go there. I mean the companies in RC, why the companies in RC don't support those ventures more.
Well, I mean, Nemo was there. I'm sure other companies are there. I didn't see all the pictures, just as they were at the CRCRC race. And I'm not taking nothing from the CRCRC race. It was great. I watched a lot of it. It was interesting. I watched the MKGP. But like I said, my rant is not about which race is better. My rant is about which race is better for RC. Which race helps promote RC. And I give that to the MKGP race 100%. And I think if we had more races like this, RC would grow. And new people will get in, and then people will go club racing, and then it's easy. It's not hard to see this. It's easy. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's how I got into the hobby. I went to it was actually a model show, and they had an RC race there. They set up a track because it was Finland in the ice hockey rink actually. So there was no ice at this time. It was in the summer, and they laid out carpet there and even some dirt for some jumps. So they had a touring car track, and then they had jumps on the infield of the touring car track and a different layout. So they had an off-road track on the same track. You see what I mean? So there was the touring cars would race, and then the 10 scale off-road cars would race.
Yeah. So
and that's how I got interested in RC racing and joined, because I saw that race. I watched the race, and then you could, you know, go in the pits and look at the cars, and that's how I got involved. So it's really helpful to have these sorts of events, and I feel like that's what we need to do more of. It's different when, let's say, Traxxas sets up something at a Supercross event, and they have short course trucks and kids drive in an oval. That's one thing, but had I seen that somewhere, I wouldn't have been interested. You know, just some toys going around in circles, that doesn't interest me. But if there are good drivers racing on a high level, going really fast, throwing whips over jumps, that looks more interesting. That's something that can interest, you know, teenagers. A Traxxas booth isn't going to interest teenagers, in my opinion. You know, some kids have fun for a few minutes, that's it. That's not really what we should be trying to do. I think we should be trying to bring the high level pro racing in front of people now. There's a lot of competition for people's time now. They have iPhones, they have video games, they have all sorts of other things that they do with their time. They don't want to, you know, sit down and learn how to build and maintain an RC car. But if we can approach it from a way of, look how cool the racing is.
I agree, man.
That's a way to get more people interested. They have to see what it is first, and then they might be interested.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I think in the past it was easier to get someone into RC because it was more unique, more special. It was like it was much better than a video game. You know, it was more realistic. But now the video games are already so realistic and so entertaining that it's a different world.
I can agree with that, and you know, people are lazy nowadays. They don't want to do all that type of stuff. But we have to make RC cool. Like a lot of people think when I say I race RC cars, or I don't really race anymore, but they think, oh, you mean like Radio Shack stuff, or like, you know, things that I see in Walmart. No, these people may say this is a hobby. Yes, it's a hobby, but I also think it's a sport. Anything with competition equals a sport in my mind. So
yeah, that's why I say I feel like the companies in the industry need to support these sorts of races more, because if all the brands were there at this MKGP and they all had their tents set up and they all had their best drivers there and they had a great announcer, you know, announcing, oh, we've got this and this driver from America over here and this guy from Germany, and like they were all there, it would be more impressive.
Yeah. And
I think the people who are there, who are on the fence, more of those would decide to take more of a look at what's going on.
And I'm not saying but just for clarification, we're not saying that the companies were not there. I'm just going by what we saw in pictures.
Some companies were there, but they weren't all there. It's not like this was the biggest race of the year. No. I'm saying like collectively, all of us in the RC industry, we should make this the biggest 10 scale race of the year. Do you see what I mean? Like these sorts of races should be supported more by the industry, by the companies in the industry, because it could actually make a difference. It could help RC more. Yes, we still go to the other established events, but then when there's an event like this that's organized somewhere in front of masses of people, that's where we should make an effort to kind of put forward our best show we can, the best drivers, the best pit displays, the top stars of the sport, you know, the best announcers, and the whole show. Like everything about that race should be the best because it's in front of a lot of people who haven't seen RC before. So that's what I feel needs to happen. And whenever these sorts of things happen, I feel like the industry support isn't there. In the past, the same guys that arranged or organized what a lot of people feel was and is the best 10 scale world to date in Vasa, Finland. They organized an 8 scale race at the World Rally Championships in Jyväskylä, Finland. And they built an AstroTurf track right next to the World Rally Championship pits. So there was a lot of people, like tens of thousands of people there, right? Mm-hmm. And now I had my own car already, my prototype. I was doing that. I wasn't really involved in the industry, so to speak. So I don't know how much they did to try and get drivers there and try and get RC industry companies to support the event, but no one showed up. It was only Finnish drivers. Mm-hmm. It was only Finnish racers, no companies there. Scotty Ernst was there. So, I mean, the fact that Scotty Ernst was there, I feel like they at least tried to get the industry involved. You know, I doubt that they would just have a race for Finnish drivers and invite Scotty Ernst there. I'm sure they tried to get the industry involved also, but no one showed up. And it was a great opportunity to showcase RC racing. Yep. And I just feel like even though it's good, no matter who shows up, it's going to be interesting for people to watch. But if I think about myself, like I go to a motocross event somewhere and it's kind of a couple of good riders and a few tents set up, you know, it's going to be good because I like motocross, but it's not going to impress me. It's not going to be like, wow, that was awesome. But if I go to an MXGP and all the best teams are there and they have their team setups and the track looks great with all the advertising banners and everything and the best riders are there and the competition is great, that's going to impress me. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to do in RC. And I just don't understand why the companies in the industry never come together in these sort of situations and make the most of an opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we can also look at where Brent is this week. It's a whole week at the Chili Bowl. It's dirt oval, and I know we don't know too much about it, but I was looking at pictures. It's crazy. There's thousands of people. It's a RC dirt oval race alongside a full scale dirt oval race that's inside. It's probably, I guess, it's considered one of the biggest indoor dirt oval races in the world. So you have thousands of people there, thousands of people that are fans of sprint car, dirt oval car racing. But then they can go see these little miniature versions of their cars, these cars driving around on the similar track. I guarantee you that helps promote RC more than anything as well. I mean, it's dirt oval, it's not off-road, but like what we do, but it helps RC people like, oh man, and these dirt oval cars some of them look exactly like the full-scale cars that are racing. So here's another great example of promoting RC to non-RC entities at a full-scale race. I think they're doing it great. I was looking at pictures, man. There's thousands of people. There's hundreds of RC competitors. So the RC competitors get to race in front of a bunch of people as well as go watch full-scale racing. I think it's a win-win situation. And the more things we do like this in RC, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, I actually have another example of a race. So this is in America, the Adelanto Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. They race like dirt bikes, off-road, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. Thousands of people again. And Brent Aston, I can't remember what his track is called now. It used to be Dialed In. Well, anyway, he builds a track there and has a race. And again, there's not very much support from the industry. It's not exactly a DNC, you know, not many people go there. And I went there last year and it was cool. There was people watching, the like-minded people, you know, people who ride dirt bikes. Mm-hmm. They like RC. So why can't we put on a better show for them? Why can't more people get involved in that race and build up that race to be something big? Because we can have our pit set up and people come by and watch the top guys, you know, working on their cars, watch them race, have a good announcer there, you know, make it interesting for people and try and get them into the hobby because they're right there. They ride dirt bikes. They like to watch RC cars. Why couldn't they get in the hobby? I mean, if it was made easy for them and accessible, then I'm sure more people would. Now it kind of is just, there's a few guys running some RC cars over there. Mm-hmm. Let's go watch for 5 minutes. Yeah. But it could be like, what's going on here? Look at this. This looks super professional.
Yep.
You know, look at their track setup and all their pit setup, and there's drivers from all over the world here. You know, the announcer announcing what's going on. Like, we just need to get our act together. That's what I feel.
It's actually happening this weekend, that race. So coming up, Adelanto race. But I agree with you.
Yeah, I think so.
I just think you tell me all the time I have to think big, and I get that. I see people make comments like, well, I bring 1 or 2 people in a year through RC, through social media, and you know, that's all good. Like, I know people are working to push the hobby, but we're not thinking big. We need to stop thinking, oh, we bring 1 or 2 people in. We need to bring 1,000 people in worldwide.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
you know,
the thing is, I think I said this in one of our kind of group chats for the whole RCGP thing. It was something like how a lot of the companies are complaining about the situation in RC right now, that the market is down and sales are down. And I mean, you can see, you just look at the companies who are folding or cutting their budgets. So it's not going great right now. And then with the whole RCGP project, we're trying to do something different, right? We're trying to help grow the industry. And I'm not saying that it is definitely going to be successful or it's definitely going to change things, but it might, okay? And I just wrote, I feel like the RC industry doesn't deserve saving. Like, that's how I feel sometimes. Because a lot of people, for example, say that, yeah, the RCGP is a great idea. This is exactly what we need. But we're not going to join the first year. We'll wait and see if it works. And then in the second year, then we'll join if it's good. Mm-hmm. So it's just this sort of attitude, this sort of thinking is kind of the reason we are in this situation now. If people would support these races like MKGP and the Adelanto race and actually work towards improving our situation, then things would change. But they don't. See, that's the whole problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly why that is. Maybe it is because, you know, the best and brightest, most intelligent people, they don't stick to RC because you can't make a lot of money in this. Mm-hmm. You know, very few people do. They go somewhere where it's easier to make money and where you can make more money. So they don't stay in the RC business. Or maybe it's because many of the RC companies are run by not professional businessmen, but by hobbyists who decide to start their own company, like the Finnish Village Idiots or something like that. So maybe that's why there's a lack in professionalism. But it definitely, the situation we are in as an industry is definitely our own doing. We can't blame video games or that it's too expensive or whatever else people blame. It's our own doing. That's what I feel.
Okay. I just feel, you know, like you keep saying, all these races still need to happen. Club racing needs to still happen, but we have to think big and get RC in front of people, but not only get it in front of them, present it in a manner in which the average person can understand what's going on. And we also have to hit a certain demographic of people. Full-scale racing, motocross. I always say motocross. Like, perfect example is Chili Bowl. They're hitting their demographic, RC Dirt Oval, catering to Dirt Oval fans. The MKGP, that was catering to the average Joe, just anybody walking by. I'm pretty sure, I have without a doubt that they got new people interested in it, especially with, people may come, like the English guys may say the British Federation isn't that good, but they actually are pretty good, I think. You know, at the end of the day, they actually hold proper regionals and nationals, and they actually have, you know, a license that you have to get if you can't race. And I think all of that helps promote RC. And maybe let's say maybe 20 people get into RC from watching that the MKGP. It's still good. It's still better than one. It's still better than nothing. And like the RC races, like I said, they have to happen because they're good races to have. And, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed watching that. But the MKGP race in the end promotes RC better. And that's my rant. Because we need to change. People always say something has to happen in the industry, but nobody actually wants things to change. Like for change to happen, change actually has to happen. So, hey.
Yeah, I would say in conclusion that I agree with what you said, and I think the problem is that people are so like narrow-minded, small-minded. They, like I say to you, you have to think big. Personal beef, this or that. I don't want to do this because it's going to help my competition. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. Like, if the companies aren't able to work together more, then nothing will ever change. And we'll all still basically be small fish in a small pond.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the pond is so small, there are no big fish. That's just how it is.
Unfortunately.
So if we just want to keep racing our cars and only thinking about ourselves and only thinking, I'm not going to do this because it's going to help my competition too, then nothing's ever going to change.
Yep. I agree.
So, yeah, I would hope that the people who are in the positions to actually make these decisions start thinking about the greater good instead of just, their personal feelings or opinions.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, just like the RCGP thing, it's an idea that many people have had and a few people have tried and it's never worked. So maybe it takes someone like me to actually make it work where everyone kind of agrees that JQ's an idiot. So maybe everyone can just come together and hate on JQ. And then that way they can work together. I don't know what it's going to take.
I think that might have the opposite effect that you want. Then everybody hates JQ and we ain't going to do it. But I get what you mean, man. And we talk about this a lot.
But they didn't want to do it either when a neutral party or someone who everyone likes tried to do it. So they didn't want to do it then. So maybe they don't want to do it now then.
I think it takes a person who's hard-headed, and you're definitely hard-headed and don't take no for an answer. So
exactly. It takes someone like that to get it started. And then after that, people just have to realize that, hey, this is actually the right thing to do.
Well, unfortunately, like anything, when you start talking, it goes on and on and on. And this rant was only supposed to be 15 minutes, and it's an hour, half an hour. So thank you, Joseph, once again.
Well, you're welcome.
You idiot. Jesus. Anyway, being as I got you online, let's do our conclusion here and just say thank you to everybody. And we're going to be working on episode 11 here soon. So anyway, guys, this ends episode 10 of the No Name RC podcast. I once again apologize that you had to listen to Joseph rant and ramble on. Joseph, apologize to the people for your rambling.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of low energy right now.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, no problem. It's late there. Well, not late. Thank you guys all for supporting. I hope you really enjoyed episode 9. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Ryan Lutz and Joseph and I talking about racing and ranting. We appreciate all your support. I got another cool giveaway coming up. If you want to be a part of these giveaways and you want to get early access to these podcasts, okay, we didn't get early access this week. You can go to patreon.com/thequaygrain. Every little bit helps people. I mean, $1 a month is the minimum that you can pay, and I think that's reasonable. I don't think that's too much. But we enjoy bringing these podcasts to you, and I enjoy doing them, and we're trying to get better with each podcast. So your support actually helps that. And thank you to all the people that reached out to me via message and offer their support. It's greatly appreciated. And, I'm going to say this again. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. And if you ain't racing and having fun, then it don't make sense doing it. You got anything to say, Joseph, before we leave?
Nah, nothing. I'm done.
Also, I'd like to say thank you to Ryan Lutz for coming on and talking with us on this podcast. It's greatly appreciated, Ryan. We wish you all the best of luck at SIC this upcoming weekend. And for all you guys that are racing this weekend, the same thing. So with that said, Lefty out, guys. Till the next one.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/The Quay Grain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.